What is up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys this morning? I hope everybody is doing well. Good to be kicking off our Tuesday here with another FOMO live stream. Glad you guys have joined me. We'll give folks a couple of minutes to filter in here. I'm also going to go ahead and get the stream going over in our Discord. That way, our friends over there, excuse me, are able to follow along. Yeah, still fighting off this weird cold cough, whatever that kicked off forever ago. And every once in a while, it just likes to show up and say, hey, I haven't totally left. All right. Let me do a quick event announcement over here. Let folks know that we are live and direct. All right. So let's go to the main options chat. Our live stream is up. Come join us. That was main options, main stock chat. All right. So we did have some economic data coming out here this morning. We see the market reacting to that. I believe we had CPI this morning, and I'm guessing it probably came in high. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. PPI actually is what we had this morning, which came in at 0.5%. So this is a inflation reading. The previous reading was negative 0.1%, so we're actually, heading in the right direction there. We were expecting some growth there. The consensus was 0.2, 0.3, but beat that on both of those. That's the core and the month-over-month PPI's readings were both at 0.5% versus 0.3 and 0.2%. So pretty hot numbers there. Will be interesting to see how that affects Jerome Powell. He is speaking today at 10 a.m., so don't let that fall off your radar screen. We also have another Fed speaker at 9:10, but I think all eyes are going to be on what Jerome Powell has to say at 10 a.m. So, be very careful jumping into anything too heavily early into the trading day until 10 o'clock has come around and we start to see some of the reaction to what Powell is going to say today. So, all right, what's up, Unknown Reviews? What's up, Ryan Brown? Yeah, I came back from the Dominican Republic from getting married a few weeks ago and came down with this crazy, for like a few days there, I couldn't stop coughing, and still, even, I think it's been a couple of weeks now. Like every once in a while, it just shows up and is like, hey, hack up a lung real quick. So anyway, let's talk about what we're seeing here in the markets here with S&P futures. We talked about this last Thursday, looking for a break over this 52.1975. We said 52.20 over that. Be ready to go long and start, looking to play for upside, buy the dips. That did work out. We moved all the way up into this next supply zone. So we flipped what was a pretty difficult supply zone down here to a demand zone now at this point. We're coming back to test that, as well as this trend line that ES built up over the course of last week. So we were coming down. We tested that here on that economic data reading that just came out. It's already reacted positively to that trend line, so it looks like bulls want to try to continue to push things here regardless of what the inflation data is saying. I guess people are still firm in their belief that we're going to see rate cuts sometime in the second half of this year. I know a lot of folks were saying, it'll be June at the latest. I've been saying for I don't know how long it'll be June at the earliest, and honestly now I'm thinking it's more like Q4 of this year, just based on how these inflation readings are coming out. So anyway, keep your heads on a swivel with these things. Again, we are trying to fight through the supply zone overhead. I personally would want to see that entirely cleared out. We have seen some rejections up here already going into the end of last week and yesterday off of this 52.63 level. But again, I'd want to see this whole supply zone cleared out. So, over 52.70, I think then things become interesting for potential continuation to the upside. from a market standpoint, but definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge. And again, make sure that you are being patient today as we get into things, because again, we have Jerome Powell at 10 a.m. You don't want to be too heavy in a position and have him say the wrong thing as far as the wrong thing for your particular trade, and have it just totally get waxed with a quickness. So let's go back. Let's review some of our trade plans that we did during Thursday's live stream. One of our requests was for Netflix. This one, and I've seen this with two of the tickers that we did on last Thursday, which, you know, I don't know if I was just a little too aggressive, or maybe we just saw some of these market-wide sort of bull traps get set up there, at least a bull trap and then a shakeout or something like that. But you know, looked like a pretty good confirmed break here on Netflix for a move to the upside, but immediately got pulled right back down and below the stop loss, which invalidates that plan, of course. Then came down all the way to our put entry level key support and bounced off of that and has pushed up. I mean, looks like it bounced. Gosh, sometimes this long short tool can be, I like it for showing trade plans and for establishing risk reward, but sometimes these little readings get in the way. That's annoying. So let's do that. There we go. So we saw it come down. What do we hit there on the low of that candle? 605.06, a penny off from our put entry level, and ultimately has bounced and pushed up from there. So nice support catch there if anybody got it, but again, definitely a little bit of a bull trap fake out there to the upside. Looked like a confirmed break to me. 621.26 is a weekly level. That's pretty key in my opinion. So just surprised that we didn't get any continuation, but saw that a little bit here, although Carvana didn't quite make it all the way out of the trade plan or above the entry level for Carvana. So this one's still kind of a wait and watch and see. We haven't seen either side of the trade plan play out. We did see a test up here of 123.12 or very near to it, and a rejection. So struggle with that resistance once already. Neptune looking pretty bullish though. I think if it can get over 119.06, we could see it at least test 123.12 and then potentially go for a breakout and a move towards some of our price targets from this prior trade plan. Just as a reminder, in fact, I'll go ahead and repost this since it's kind of still waiting for action. Let's go ahead and repost this in the chat so you guys have the chart. Trade plan from last Thursday. Here's a Tino prize ticker. GME, yeah. Well, you know, again, I'm really kicking myself for not buying those AMC shares yesterday. I mean, it would have been a share buy. I don't know why I was so hesitant to go ahead and get in. I was like, well, you know, I've got this. I had a big meeting yesterday, and I was like, you know, let me just, you know, get through that, and then I'll come back and take a look at things. And it ran like 100%. At that point, I'm not, you know, gonna try to chase, but I think it was up another. Let's take a quick look. I think it was up another like 100% again this morning. So those puts we sold are going to work out well, but yeah, definitely wish I had bought those shares I was considering yesterday around the like $3 I think range or something like that it was in. Yeah, you know, I was just like, you know, it's not going to move that much. It keeps halting. By the time I get out of this meeting, of course, the meeting was way longer than I anticipated. You know, by the time I get out of this, I'll come back, and if it still looks good, I'll get some shares. And it, you know, it was up around 4, so it's like 100% move or something like that, or 80% already. I was like, all right, I'm not chasing that. But we did sell some cash secured puts, so those should potentially pay out almost immediately. It'll be interesting to see how much the volatility spike, it kind of keeps those premiums elevated, but we might be able to go ahead and close those out and sell kind of a different strike, although I don't know, you know, again, this is a little bit of a meme short squeezy, probably not going to last for a long time kind of scenario, so I don't want to get caught picking up shares at too high of a net cost, that's for sure. But we'll take a look at it. But yeah, GME, let's just take a quick look. We're not going to do a trade plan on it, but my 2 AMC shares don't have it at me. Yeah, you know, it's one that I lost track of. We kind of successfully wheeled our way through it, got to a negative cost per share. In other words, you know, we had collected more premium than we spent on the shares that we bought, and then some. And eventually, you know, I think actually when the whole ape thing happened, that's when I was like, you know what, this is all. I didn't think that that was going to be a smart move for the share price, so I started scaling out my shares pretty heavily around the launch of that ape stock. So, um, anyway, that's, it is what it is. Yeah, GME, still up another 100% this morning. So, here we go. Netflix is going to have to make a sequel to their GameStop, kind of docudrama or whatever you want to call that thing. All right, we don't need this anymore. Let's close this. Close without saving. I don't care. All right, so we talked about Carvana, reposted that plan. Netflix, what's up, Chris? Good morning to you, brother. How are you? Hope you're doing well. The other one that we had, and this was the other one that I said, I saw it with two different tickers. This FTAI one, which again, wasn't super familiar with. Concerns of, again, low volume, could be tricky to trade. Did see again what looked like a pretty good confirmed breakout to the upside, but is ultimately pulled back down, rejected that call entry, broke below the stop loss average down level. So this one is definitely another one where, I kind of just wonder if maybe I was a little too eager or aggressive with my call entry level. I don't typically see 2 out of 3 trade plans having a stop out without hitting any price targets. So, apologies if I was a little bit off last Thursday or whatever the case might be, but that's okay. Losses happen. Again, overall, I think our trade plans have an extremely high success rate. So just, stick to the process. We're not going to win them all. It is what it is. So what are we seeing here on FTAI after getting that little bit of a fake out to the upside? We did see a clean rejection of the call entry level there. Broke all the way down to the put entry, tried to hold that, but is now breaking down below. So this one could continue down. I forget who asked for this one, and it was a little bit of an obscure ticker, but if you use that rejection to your advantage, you're probably doing quite well right now, and it looks like it's wants to continue down further, probably to 75.59. I think there's actually a gap to fill down there. Yeah, there is. So probably going to head toward that gap and go ahead and fill it down to 75.59. Would certainly scale out your positions pretty heavily. Gap fills tend to generate reversals in the price action. So, all right, let's talk about some new tickers. Let's get some trade plans set up here. Unknown reviews, MNDY. Monday? I don't know what that is. Another new one for me. You guys are coming up with some interesting ones. Well, I guessed the name right, but I was not. It's not because I knew what it was. It was just a pure guess. Tech services report Q1 earnings. When is that? Tomorrow. Unknown Reviews really likes these what's coming up with earnings reports. Let's do a trade plan for it. Let's see. Business of operating cloud-based visual work operating systems, modular building blocks. Interesting. Also, Israeli company. So that's something to be mindful of. It's going to trade kind of like a Chinese ticker or something like that, where we're going to see sort of weird price action and lots of gaps, I would imagine, because it's going to trade heavily when our markets are totally closed. So that's the Perry Manilow stock. All right. So again, this one's got some weird what I would say is kind of sketchy price action outside of regular trading hours. So we're going to stick to regular trading hours here only. Let's see if we can't. Also, let's take a look at the volume on this thing. That's another thing to be kind of considerate of. Kind of a low volume ticker also. So, be careful with this one, is what I'd say. But let's take a look. All right. So, weekly chart. Let's see what that shows us. For now, I'm going to hide my indicators so I can just focus on the price action here for a minute. We'll bring those back in when it's time to find our confluences and set up our trade plans. But let's see if we can't figure out where our levels are here on this thing first. Yeah, there's something right around here. I don't think we're going to need anything lower than this one, 2271. Is that a level? I think it is. Interesting gap here on the weekly. think we got something there and here. Yep, there. Is that? Lots of resistance on this level, but not seeing much in the way of support, so we'll just keep this on watch for now. Definitely have a level up there. Not really seeing. Oh, that's interesting. Yep. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let's take a look at this daily chart here. Let's see if we can't figure out what this 240.20 level's doing. I think it might be just a little bit lower. Just come on. There we go. Yep, right about there. That looks good. That level. All right, let's get back to where the current price action is, though. Um, hmm. Interesting level. Yeah, something right about there. I want to keep on watch. And something here. And here. Okay. Do we have another level in here? Let's see. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, I see that on their reviews. There's definitely a pattern to your ticker requests. Always earnings right around the corner, which is, fine. It's actually not a bad strategy, right? What are we looking for or what do we need to get price action to really move for us? Well, we need volume, right? To break through support and resistance levels. And so, if you've got an earnings report coming up, that tends to bring volume in higher than what you would normally see, and you tend to see the moves that you want to see, get the breaks that you want to get. So I totally get why you are focused on these types of setups. Totally understandable. I just happen to notice the pattern. This is also interesting. Let's take a look and see if this is, yeah, definitely an interesting downtrend there. Also, potentially, although it could be breaking down, so this could be a sign of bearishness to come. Yeah, I think we've got a potential breakdown of that trend line as well. All right, well, that's good to know. Let's continue on here. See what we've got in the way of 4-hour levels. Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely a level there. 4-hour. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll keep that on watch. All right. I think we're looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and fast forward to the hourly chart. Let's get our indicators back on. See where our confluences are. How do we want to handle this? And we'll fill in the blanks as far as additional support and resistance levels go. Interesting, and there's also a gap to fill down here. This one's 76.05. All right. Yeah, this kind of tricky, tight price action on this, but I think what we're looking for, especially with some of this bearishness that we're seeing in this stuff kind of breaking down here, although we need to have a smart stop loss in place if I'm going to take a shot at this way. Sorry, I'm really debating whether or not we want to try to catch this move down to this gap fill down to 176.05, or do we want to wait to see if it continues below? Well, actually, I'm sorry, that's the top of the gap. The gap doesn't fill down until 173.04. All right, here's what we're going to do. Like an entry here at 178.88 for downside. Let's go for this gap to fill down to 173.04. Below that, I think we've got, let me just check this, make sure that this is where I want it to be. Could actually give this a little, yeah, I think this hourly level is sitting a little bit more like right there. So that'll give us a stop loss average down. All right, below 173.04. Definitely going to want to scale out some more here at 169.82. And below that, let's take this back a little further. Yeah, I think we can get down to this 165.19 daily level. Upside, which again definitely would be leaning bearish on this thing at the moment. Although upcoming earnings report could totally upend that. Definitely have a level here. That's of interest. I think that's also probably going to be a good call entry level. Gets us over the bearish flag here on Neptune, gets us over the 200 SMA, probably gives us some room up to that 333 confluence. Yeah, let's go with that. So, over 195.11, be looking for this 202.32 level to hit. Then we have a gap to fill to the upside as well, actually. But first, I'd want to have some more profits out at 207.01. And then, yep, 213.46, just kind of 1, 2, 3 to the upside. And I like this weekly level stop loss average down. So here's what our trade plans look like on Monday. Monday. Zoom in on this a little bit so it's easy to see all the levels. Let's give ourselves a little bit more room here. All right. So here is your Monday trade plans. We'll also post these over in the Discord and the options watch list for those of you who might be watching on Discord. Just a friendly reminder, we are focused on our YouTube side of things here, so please make sure that you do join the YouTube streams. That is where I am focused on chats, taking ticker requests, all that stuff. I'm not able to kind of track both at the same time, both Discord and YouTube. It's just kind of too much to follow. So anyway, make sure that you're joining the YouTube streams. Monday live stream trade plans. All right, so what are we looking for here on Monday? Well, we're looking for a break below 178.88. That should give us downside targets at 173.04, 169.82, and 165.19, with a stop loss average down up here at 182.26. To the upside, we want to see a break above 195.11. I know that's a ways off, but again, lots of bearishness, selling pressure until we get over that. Over 195.11, I think we're looking for targets at 202.32, 207.01, and 213.46 with a stop loss average down at 190.51. Those are your Monday trade plans for the upside and the downside. All right, what other ticker request do we get? Kava from KD. Just had Kava last week. Good stuff. Let's see if this is one that we're going to use extended trading hours for or not. Quick look at this. I think the answer's nah. Looks a little sketchy during those pre-market sessions, so we'll focus on regular trading hours for this one. So yeah, for those who don't know, Kava's kind of like the Mediterranean Chipotle, if you will. So let's hide our indicators for now. Let's go to our weekly chart. Ooh, Kava's on a tear. Also hasn't been trading for very long. Let's check the volume on it. Volume's pretty good. But yeah, relatively young ticker. Almost, hasn't quite, but almost has been trading for a year now. So this will be interesting because we don't have a ton of price action to work with, but that's okay. That guy in there, that in there. All right. So can we even find any weekly levels here? Oh, there's one. Off to a decent start then. Yeah, I like that. That. That's not bad. Oh yeah, thank you. Unknown. Yeah, we HD. I haven't circled back to take a look at that one. Take a look at it real quick though. Yeah, played beautifully off that put entry. Ran all the way up to PT1, rejected, coming back down. Yeah. Yep, have fun with this one. It's played out these levels very nicely, for sure. All right, so back to Kava. The Kava. Interesting little double top in there from a weekly standpoint. It's actually not quite a double top. We'll wait to see this. Well, I think there's something here, but I want to see it on another time frame before we go. Getting too excited about that level. Another interesting flip of resistance to support, but not really enough to nail it down as a weekly level. Yeah, I think that's probably all we're going to get off this weekly chart, just given the, again, relative youth of this, of Kava's time on the market. Again, it's been trading for a little shy of a year at this point, but like that as a daily level down there. I think we also have another daily level, but it's probably a little bit higher. Yeah, probably right about there. That's good. All right, let's check this. Interesting gap and double bottom there. Yeah, there's a level here for sure. I don't think we have any historical price action over 60.70. Kind of meets the bare minimum for my approach to support and resistance, but I think there is a level there at 60.70. Yeah, we'll take a shot at that being a decent level. There's definitely one there. All right. I think. See if this is something or nothing. Yeah, I'm not convinced on that. Okay, let's go to the 4-hour chart. I think we're pretty good. We're getting close to being able to lock in this trade plan. I think we will have time for one more trade plan, and I don't see any other than AMC and GameStop, which I I think those are all just jokes. But if you guys have one more ticker request, I think if I can get this tightened up and ready to go here shortly, could be able to do one more. Chris, I don't think I've done one of yours recently, and you tend to be the my muse. Chris finds the good tickers. Update on Tesla. Sure, we can take a look at that. What's up, CD? Good to see you. Glad you're here. All right, let's see. 76.99. Gosh, we just don't have a lot to work with, but I think there's something there. And that's just because we haven't spent a lot of time up in this price range, because again, relatively young ticker, essentially testing all-time highs here. And truffle pig or the goose that gave, yeah, we had a little bit of a stretch there where all of my attempts to compliment Chris wound up becoming barnyard animal references. What can you do? I was trying to say nice things. the intent was heartfelt and positive, but it was not coming out correctly, that's for sure. All right, let's make a slight adjustment to that weekly level. Okay, I think we're pretty good here. We're going to fill in the blanks on the weekly chart. The other thing we're going to need, but let's, I'm sorry, did I say fill in the blanks on the weekly chart? I meant hourly. I said weekly. The other thing we're going to need, though, is some trend-based fib extensions. I think this trend actually really starts about maybe here. We could already be below it and back testing it, actually. Let's see. It's probably about there, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Chris is my muse. All right, so let's get our, oops, not fib retracements, trend-based fib extensions going here. All right, where is this going to line up for us? Well, it's going to line up right there. I like that. Nice confluence with a couple of levels you already got in place. That gives us some projections to use in case we break through all-time highs. Come on, there we go. All right, that's good enough for now. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Well, I'd already like this as a put entry level. If we break below 72.10, that could potentially bring a gap fill to the downside down here at 68.17. Also has room before we hit those SMAs before we get there. I think that gives us a good stop here at 74.72. Upside. This is going to be a little tricky, but I think if we can break back over, what are we at, 76.99 there? I took a phone call, missed everything so far. Well, Chris, I came up with a much better word to use when I talk about your ability to find perfect tickers for me to do trade plans for, and we're going to go with Muse now instead of Goose that lays the golden eggs. Goat was another one that we had, and Truffle Pig. all the barnyard animal references. We found a better one. All right, so kind of tight PT 1 and 2 here to the downside. 66.50. Second price target for the downside. Third price target, I think it could see a little bit of a move lower, and that would also break us below this confluence with the 200 333 there. So I say let's take a shot here at PT3 on maybe moving a little bit lower. So this is what our trade plans look like. Whoops, there we go. Guinea pig of some sort, Truffle Pig. Yeah, it was Truffle. I mean, again, Truffle Pig finds these wonderful little nuggets of deliciousness. Chris was very much finding these amazing trade plan setups. I mean, that DraftKings trade plan just crushed, but that was, one of several that Chris was like, hey, check this one out. And I did the trade plan. He found the target, and teamwork made the dream work. But yeah, we'll go with Muse, or I'll come up with some other stuff. That's less of a, animal reference. All right, whoops. I want to copy the link, not the image. There we go. All right, here's our Kava trade plans. And let's also post this over in Discord. So what are we looking for here on Kava? We're looking for a break above 76.99 to play for targets at 80.27, 83.27, and 85.66. Again, 83.27 and 85.66 being fib extensions. So those are our best guesstimates after it breaks out over all-time highs as to where we might find resistance. With the stop loss average down at 74.72. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 72.10. That should give us targets at 68.17, 66.50, and then a little bit of a stretch here, but I think we could get down to 63.13 if we do break below 66.50. And again, we're going to share a stop loss average down with the call side of the trade plan there at 74.72. Those are your Kava trade plans. Oh yes, AMS. Yeah. That was another one. Yep. All right. So, do we have one more ticker request? Update on Tesla or Snow? Yeah, let's do those updates real quick. Good call, CD. Let's take a look. Tesla. Definitely want extended trading hours for Tesla. All right. Let's see our last trade plans. Oh, you know what? I think I pulled the last Tesla trade plan we did into the recap layout because I do have a lot of levels on Tesla. Yeah. Let's see what's going on with this guy. Last trade plan we did on it was, let's go. Let's get us there quicker. Let's see, we did this one, what, Tuesday, April 30th. So never got above our call entry, broke down below the put entry, consolidated up against the put entry, eventually got PT1. I wonder, yeah, it definitely looks like I shot one level lower than I should have. I mean, we eventually got it, but seems like the key level was a little bit higher up here at 178.30, just based on looking at it in hindsight. Ultimately, he's hit all the price targets to the downside, filled that downside gap as well, trying to bounce, got some Neptune pressure, perfect rejection of that key selling level there on Neptune. All right, well, let's go back to let's do Tesla. We'll just totally start this from scratch. I don't think we're in a great spot to just totally cannibalize that existing trade plan, if you will. So let's set up a new plan. Go ahead and delete this old stuff off. Downside played out nicely on it though. All right. This guy has filled. Did I have another level on here? I didn't. I wonder if I should. Or I wonder if this hourly level is just a little lower than it should be. I don't know. That gap down though, well, not a gap down. It's the end of the regular trading hour session. Yeah, this is when I was pointing out those multi-rejections off that put entry level once we broke below it. Never got back above the stop loss before all the downside targets played out. So, let's see here. This gap is filled. So, well, that's an interesting level to me still. The other one wasn't so much. Excuse me. All right. Yeah, there's definitely an interesting level here that if Tesla can break above it, could see it try to make a push. The question is, and again, I think there is a level, like two levels that are just really tight here, or I have this level a little low. I I'm going to go with, I think I have that level a little low. I think it's really more like right there. 200 is also right there as a potential resistance confluence. You know what? Let's switch this around. Let's flip it up or flip it around, whatever. I think you guys know what I was trying to say. All right, we're going to actually make this our stop loss for a call side plan over 178.07. Over that, yeah, I think there's a level here that I just don't have yet, or currently. I think that's a smart first price target. Gives us a decent, not fantastic, but a decent risk reward setup there. I wonder if there's another, I don't wonder. I think there's another level in here too at 183.45. Just looking for some confirmation here. Yeah, I think that could be a pretty decent level and also probably a good PT2. It's going to be a real if scenario. We break over 184.78. If we do, and again, I expect strong resistance there, but also kind of just a little bit too tight for PT 2 and 3, I think. Make sure you're moving your stops up, though. Don't let a green trade go red after that. This is an interesting print way above that 186.89 level. Let me just check that out real quick. I'm looking around there, though, for our third price target. I'm just trying to see if it, again, if I've got a level that's a little bit low here potentially. Yeah, I think I do. I think it is a little bit more like right here. Yeah, for sure. So slight adjustment. Also very close to still catching that top right there. So yep, I like that. For our upside trade plan downside, let's see. Interesting support and resistance flip down here. We'll see if it becomes a factor in these plans, though. All right. So I think for fill that gap, there's a weekly level there. A little bit torn on this downside plan, to be perfectly honest. I think yeah, I think what we could take a shot at, I might be being a little too aggressive, so if we get faked out on the downside with this, at least I called it. Yeah, I think that's a good stop loss right there at this daily level. All right, so other price targets below 167.25 would be definitely an interesting level here. I don't have yet. Whoops, there we go. And then below that, yeah, man, I feel like either Tesla's levels are kind of shifting, or I think they're probably just shifting a little bit. That can happen. Because historically, I found like my levels have always been pretty dead on for Tesla, but just seeing some reactions slightly off from where I would expect them to be. So, probably also overdue to just totally revamp and rebuild my Tesla trade plan levels. All right, so here's what we're looking for. I will extract this and put it over in that other layout so it's easier to read. Also wonder, we're right at 1-to-1 on this downside. So downside, again, I called potentially getting bear trapped based on the entry level, possibly being too aggressive. The other thing keep in mind is it's not a fantastic risk reward setup to the downside. So for all those reasons, make sure you start small, scale in. Nothing wrong with averaging up on a trade. Some of the best, most seasoned traders I know average up. Sounds counterintuitive, but most good trading is counterintuitive. So, all right, here we go. That posted here, and all right, so what are we looking for on Tesla? We're looking for a break over 178.07 to play for targets at 180.64, 183.45, and 187.12 with a stop loss average down at 176.06. To the downside, again, be careful with this downside of trade plan. Could be too aggressive on this entry, and again, 1-to-1 risk reward setup, so start small. But we're looking for a break below 170.65 to play for targets at 167.25, 164.04, and 160.57 with a stop loss average down at 173.87. All right, with that, we're getting pretty close to 10 minutes out from market open. I do still need to go put together SPY plan and get that posted for our friends in our Discord. If any of you here in our YouTube stream are not already in our Discord, please take a moment, check us out, come join us. We do have free trials, definitely where you will get all of the things that I'm sharing with you here and then some, as well as access to all kinds of other analysts. So definitely come check us out if you aren't already in the mix in our Discord. With that, as we always say, a video lesson on averaging up. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually, Chris. I'll put some thought into that. With that, as we always say here on the FOMO live streams, plan your trades, trade your plans, go out there and get some green. I will see you guys in our Discord throughout the day today. I'll provide updates and get ready to see the SPY plan in the options watch list here shortly. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. We will be back Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, you guys go out there. Good luck. Go kill it. Have a great day.